All right, Frank. Looks like you're up here now.
Yeah, what's going on, guys? Can you hear me?
All righty. I
Yes, we can.
appreciate you coming to help out, and as far as helping people, they want to come up and talk or keep on track, so I don't have to really pay much attention to any of that.
Yeah, not a problem. I'm glad to help, man. Like I said, you support us, we support you. That same goes with anybody that's down there. I mean, not it's just the interlink is the name, but that's what we try and do. We try and interlink everybody and projects and people. So I'm definitely glad to help, man.
I appreciate it. Well, we got a few minutes here. Anyone that's in the space now, if you can retweet the space. So what we're going to be doing is mainly this is just going to be more of like an education, sort of trying to help people understand some technical analysis, and then bringing people up in the last half an hour to ask questions. So we're sort of just going to go through a few questions, and I sort of have an agenda laid out that we're going to go over, and then so we'll get started here in about 3 minutes, and then we'll go through the process here. So did you look at the chart at all today as far as Jasmy goes?
Me? Yeah, I have. Yep.
I've watched a little bit. I've actually used a lot of the from your videos that you put in your article. I've went through and taken a lot of that information and did exactly what you recommended in the video as far as laying out the lines on the dailies, the weeklies, and the monthlies. And man, that was a game changer for me. Like
Yeah,
I wasn't doing that before. And so I was just looking at in my charting, I was using other methods. But dude, that is like to a T how these market makers are utilizing those tools. I was like, wow, it was an eye opener for me.
Yeah, it allows you to formulate a bias, and that's the key. A lot of people kind of they go and hope and pray when you're in this market. I hope it goes up. Where if you use the tools that I share, you can actually have a pretty good bias on where price is wanting to go at least, or it gives you courage.
Yeah, no, it's been great. I mean, just in the last 3 days from you made that video, I've been watching it, and man, it's landing perfectly, just how you showed in the video. And anyone that's in this space, this is Christ, the solid rock I stand. His handle is Not of Works. Go give him a follow. He has some videos. I mean, he's very knowledgeable on this stuff. I mean, obviously, none of us here are experts, right? Like we all make mistakes. None of us can predict the timing of the market, right? And we're not giving investment advice. We're just trying to help give tools and information for you guys to learn that's in this space to go make your own trades more of a success, right? So that's all it is. So we're not here to shill a project or a coin. We're here to just provide some personal experiences that relates to how we learn and some educational advice, so that way you guys can go out and make some better informed decisions when you're making trades. So, and none of us are paid to do this. We're just here to help the community and support the community. So, and I know mainly the community that I'm most involved with is Jasmy, that I've been around with for now about going on 4 years. So, and I don't know, you've been around that long, haven't you?
Not me. I started about 2+ years ago, I would say.
Oh, okay. So you came in right after the bull run, more or less, when the bull run started going down. You came in right towards the bottom end of that, didn't you?
Yeah, I'd probably say I came in towards the bottom of
Yeah.
the bear market.
Oh gosh, dude. I went through the top of that bear market. And I went through the top, and it was my first ever going through a bull run, but I didn't understand that I was entering in at the exit of the bull run. So I made some bad investment decisions, and I had to learn through that. But at the same time, the Jasmy project that I was monitoring, and I went all in on this coin, right? And it did not pay off. Like, I lost everything, like, no joke. And it was a substantial amount of money that I lost. And and then I was like, what can I learn from all of this? So as I was going through and making videos and stuff, my channel sort of the community really rallied behind me, and that's really, if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't even be here on X right now. So I appreciate the Jasmy community for that, for getting me where I'm at. So we're gonna go ahead and start the space. We're already running a minute behind, but so just a couple reminders to any of the participants, anyone that's in the space now that's listening. If we end up bringing you up to talk, we are not financial advisors. We are not here to give investment advice on any project, crypto, or coin. Okay. No shilling your own projects or coins if you come up and talk. It's just going to be limited to the last 30 minutes that we are going to take questions from the space. And we want you guys to come up and ask questions. Okay. So we can learn, right? Because I'm still learning. We're all here to learn and grow, right? And making better trades. So that's what this space is going to be for. So any questions that you have, or if you want to provide a personal experience that relates to learning, please come up. Interlink will be bringing you guys up as you ask questions. So any questions that you have, just wait until about 8:30, the last half an hour. That's when we're going to start bringing you up. So, of course, keep it educational. Let's keep the space professional. That's the most important thing, right? Because we don't know whose ears are listening as far as kids. Nothing political. So we're just going to keep it based on the trading, the terms, educational, and stay on topic. So, and then of course we'll answer to the best of our ability as we know how to do. And of course, like I said, we're all learning. So, but anyway, so I'll tell a little bit about myself. I think I sort of did. I really got known through the Jasmy project and making posts on X, where I had the community sort of rally behind me. My failure to predict the market was in my learning curve of never going through a bull run. So it was my first bull run that I went through, but I was entering in at the exit of the bull run. So the market was going into a downtrend, which I was unaware of, didn't know anything about trading at the time. And I sort of just had to learn. I wasn't watching anyone. I wasn't taking advice from anyone. I didn't watch any videos. So I was my own failure. But because of that, I have learned a lot during that process of when the timing of the markets is and some indicators that to look for. So, but I'm really bullish on just the technology of the blockchain. So I really dove into the blockchain and started deciphering the Jasmy, what the project was and how they were issuing coins out on Etherscan. I could see the coins being issued out from their wallets. So once I started diving into that a little bit more, I started understanding what Web3 was, and I'm still learning. And that's where I am today with all of you that's in the space, is to learn and grow together. So whether it be in technology or crypto or investing, we're all here for a reason, right? And I believe that's to learn and have success wherever we put our time and our effort. So what really made me, as far as well, actually, I'll go off to at Works if you want. I forgot your name again. I'm sorry. What was it again?
Hayden.
Okay, Hayden. Sorry, yes, I'll remember it this time. I won't forget it this time. So Hayden, tell the space a little bit about who you are, and yeah.
I'm just a regular guy up in a cabin on a lake. I have 2 daughters, a wife, and I'm a construction worker. I've done probably over 100 plus homes in construction, ranging from trailer parks to multi-million-dollar homes. And that's my main profession. And I got into trading, I'd probably say about 5 years ago. And I was doing it on the side. It's always been fascinated with price and seeing videos and things of like the charts, and just people are looking at it as if they're reading it, and that always fascinated me. And so on the side I would work on trading and learning, but I failed a lot because I'm a very emotional person, and trading really I learned a lot more about myself than I ever have. So when I started trading, it realized that there's a lot of flaws that I have emotionally. And so I developed a system that I have that I share for free on how to curtail those emotions and how to use using a system to help you make your trades based on what is written in the charts, not your emotion.
Yeah, I think we can all sort of relate that we get emotional to when you get money involved, right? It's very, very easy to do that.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, like I was just saying a second ago. Oh, sorry. With my when I got in on Jasmine, I mean, it was an emotional time for me going down and seeing my wallet, just the amount go down, right? And then just kept believing that it was going to go back up. Like, it can't go down anymore, but it just kept going up. So, or kept going down, and I learned a lot through that emotion, through that time period, how to control it, because I really had to learn that process. And
well, I think
I
you
don't
were
know.
at a huge disadvantage at the start because you didn't have all the information ahead of you, and that's one of my biggest gripes about the Jasmine space is they're intellectually dishonest sometimes with how the developers and everybody transition with the space. If anybody knows me, I'm pretty aggressive on my feelings towards the space, especially through the development team. I think people cannot forget what they did to you. And I'm one of the only people that really say, hey, they really screwed you over by how and what they did and didn't give you all the information. If you would have had the information in front of you, you wouldn't have made those financial choices. And to think that wasn't purposeful irritates me. So.
Yeah, I think it was, I mean, at the same time, the project Jasmine itself, I mean, they had laid it out in the whitelist what they were going to do. So I had understood what was sort of happening there, but at the same time, like you said, I mean, I wasn't educated in making those informed trades. But now I have learned through this hard process, right, of what not to do and what to do, right? So,
Mhm.
you definitely got to have people in your corner to help support you. So anyone that's in the space, right, if you're making trades, I suggest you find someone that you look up to learn from their mistakes, because you don't want to be the mistake, right? You don't want to go through what I went through. And I don't know if anyone else has been here. I can say most of all of us, if we've been into trading, has made a mistake at one point or another and made a bad trade. So,
Mhm.
and that's why Hayden is here to help. Of course, he provides some free tools on his channel that you can make sure you follow him and go. I've learned a lot from him already, and I'm already using some of the tools that he's given us. So, I mean, as far as I go, that was my biggest mistake, was investing at the top, Jasmine. I just didn't know what that was, and of course, as far as why I started trading, I seen all of these coins, right? When I got into crypto, I had someone tell me about crypto. And so I got into it, and I seen all these coins just skyrocket. I'm like, what in the world? I mean, there's money here, right? So it was the appeal that got me into wanting to trade. But at the same time, I also seen I'm a numbers guy. So I like to decipher charts. I'm into science. I hate math, believe it or not. It's sort of ironic, right? Because there is math here sort of involved. But I just love trying to figure out problems, like in a Rubik's Cube, in a sense. And that's exactly when you're analyzing charts, that's what you're doing, right? So you're looking for trends in your technical analysis, and you're using tools to discern, where is the market going next. So that's just something that's I'm very passionate about when it comes to reading the charts. I mean, I look at them every single day. So as far as one of the indicators that I use when I'm looking at charts that I think is important is the EMAs. So I look at it as a 200-day and a 50-day. As far as if I had to choose one indicator for trading, what would it be? It would be the EMA, would be what I would use. So Hayden, I don't know if you can answer the sort of the three questions there on the agenda.
Mm-hmm. Oh, what made you start trading that part?
Yeah. Yep. The A, B, and C.
Um, what made me start trading? I felt like I was forced into it. I'm a single income household. I provide for my family, and based on on my mind and mostly my physical body. And I just noticed that I work very, very hard, and I wasn't keeping up. I just felt like the money I was coming in was coming out just as quickly. And it came to a point where, I went to my wife. I'm like, how are we doing? And she would tell me, and I'm like, how is that possible? Like, how I'm working every day, weekends, I'm working so hard. What is going on? And I just realized that inflation was coming, and I almost had to, I was forced into having to come up with a secondary plan because I wasn't able to produce more. And so I was forced into this. I made tons of mistakes, and I was trading with money that I had to have. And I think that was one of my biggest mistakes is I traded via emotion. And when you have an emotional attachment with the money you're trading, you're going to fail. Um, Almost certainty. It's almost certain that if you're attached emotionally to the money you're trading, you're going to fail. And so that was probably my biggest mistake is getting into it without a plan, and that's why I developed my system. And it came out of, it was kind of it birthed out of nowhere, to be honest with you. And my wife had told me, um, I would share with people about my system, and hey, it almost can predict price. And I predicted this price, and it hit it, and it went in this direction, but no one listened. It almost as if it fell on deaf ears. And my wife had told me, hey, you should find a space, go somewhere, and share what you found. And that was the best advice I ever received. And I chose the Jasmine community because the chart looked extremely bullish, and the community was in pain for, the year and a half, 2 years that it was going straight down. And I felt like this coin was accumulating. And according to my system, it was below extreme values. And so I chose to be a part of this system. And yeah, and so if I had to choose one single indicator, it would be volume profiles without a shadow of a doubt. That's my favorite all-time indicator. It tells you where value is regardless of your feeling about it. If you would have had volume profiles at the start of Jasmine, you would have known that um, it was it was way too above value according to volume. And also you wouldn't have really known that actually because it was early in its infancies. But what I love about volume profiles is it tells you whether you are above value or below value based on what is written in the chart, not because you feel like it's going to go higher or I think it's cheap right now. A lot of people go, I think it's cheap right now. Well, technically, Jasmine is extremely expensive right now at this very, very moment. It is considered premium. And so, but a lot of people think it's cheap based on speculation, where I go, well, hold on a second. According to my system, it's actually premium pricing. And that's based on rules and principles, not my feelings. And so I think out of all indicators, 100% volume profiles.
Yeah, you'll have to show us. You'll have to. I know you got. I think you have that on your profile right now, right? I think that's the article you just wrote was the volume profile, if I'm not mistaken.
Let me see here. It's
And if you can share that too, by the way, if you go to that article, you can share that to the space,
okay. Hold on just
and
a second.
that
I can email
way,
it.
and since you recommend that,
Oh
they can
yeah,
go.
yeah. View articles.
Yeah,
So yeah, it is. It is something. I'll link this one, but it's to set up your volume profiles and kind of understanding some of the terminology like value area lows and value area highs and the most transacted volumes, the point of control. It can seem very, very, anybody that's listening, that seems like it's magic lines or it's overwhelming. I promise you, if you give me more time, and I do this stuff for free, but if you give me more than just a passerby and actually go, okay, I'm going to give this a shot, eventually the light bulb kicks on. I've known people that have heard and applied the principles to their charts and done very, very well almost instantaneously. And some take longer to understand it, but eventually the light bulb will eventually kick on, and then it'll make sense. And you're going to view the market as, I don't know how to put into words, but you're going to view the market at a non-biased approach, at a probabilistic outcome instead of hopes and dreams. And that's, what I try to bring to the table is, hey, it is more probable that if you bought here, nothing is certain. The one thing that is certain, there's no certainties in this space. And so, and a lot of people, because they're emotional based, they need certainty, and you're never going to get it in this realm. And so I developed a system that allows you to see it with your own two eyes that, hey, it is below value according to this time frame. So it is at my advantage to look to buy this. It is not certain that price will go higher, but historically, based on statistics, it is probable. So I have courage that this is a positive investment time period for me. And it's based on those rules. I have rule sets along with value that if applied, and it's like I can go in, it would take a long time to go through all the rule sets, but I share the rules along with value that in conjunction together give you a more probabilistic outcome instead of hopes and dreams, if that makes sense. So
No,
yeah,
it does.
that.
Yeah, sure. If you go, I think once you look at the article, you go to the bottom right, and you click on the whole thing, and you can share it to the top. So, and I believe as far as that volume profile goes, I don't know what trading system you use as far as, I don't know, software wise. I use TradingView, but I don't know if that is actually available or not on TradingView. I'd have to look into that. So I don't know if
It
that's
is on
something.
TradingView, and you do need a paid subscription. You just need the basic paid description. But yes, you can use it via TradingView. They also have a free version. It's called Attis. Attis is a free version. You can view volume profiles and time profiles. But I personally use TradingView. It is something that I'm used to. So
yeah, I like it on TradingView. I mean, it seems pretty simple to me. I mean, of course, I don't dive into it real deep. I mean, there's a lot of stuff on there I don't know what to do. I just don't mess with. But having somebody like you, I could ask you those questions, and you'd feel free to, give me the answers. And for anyone in the space for that matter, make sure you follow him, because, he's someone that will help you. And from what I've seen him interact with people, he's helping a lot of people. He's already helped me, and he responds. So he's not going to ignore you. So we're all here to grow and learn together, as far as the trading, making better trades. So yeah, I'll have to end up setting that volume profile up. I don't know what the paid subscription is. I did have it at one point, but I don't have it now. I have the free version right now, so I can only use so many different indicators. But yeah. So as far as the volume one goes, is there any other ones that you would recommend if you couldn't use that one, since that is on a paid subscription? So someone that doesn't have the money to do a paid subscription, is there any free ones that you would recommend?
Well, it's if you have the rule set that I have, I'm going to make another article based on my rule set here in the very, very near future. But if you apply the rule set with VWAPs, VWAP is a very, very, I mean, it's almost just as good as volume profiles. In fact, you could use VWAPs with the same philosophies and rules and principles as I do with volume profiles. It's similar to moving averages. The issue I have with moving averages, and this is no offense, is that they're typically lagging, where volume profiles gives you, I think volume profiles gives you the earliest possible indicator. As you know, as price gives you a golden cross or there's a crossover, you're usually late to the move. And so price usually reverts down past or after the crossover, and that chews up a lot of people. Whereas volume profiles, it's usually the case that price doesn't linger below value too long because it's considered cheap and buyers usually step in. And so volume profiles gives you an early indicator, but VWAPs, if it was me, I think, and you had to go free, I would choose VWAPs. In fact, I have an indicator that I'm going to make an article on that I've shared for free in the past, that I have to set it up where you can copy and paste it. I've tried to have TradingView accept my indicator. They say there's way too many volume profile indicators, so they declined that they would accept the indicator, even though mine's the only indicator that actually has the daily, weekly, monthly VWAPs. So it's unfortunate that they won't allow me to do that. So it's something you'll have to copy and paste and incorporate into your own chart. I'm going to plan on doing that in an article here soon. But another indicator I would 100% use is VWAPs. A lot of algorithms or trade off the volume weighted moving average. That's what VWAP stands for. So, and then they also have like a standard 1, standard 2 deviations, which I consider, just like I do with volume profiles, is that price usually likes to linger within a 1 or 2 standard deviation of the volume weighted moving average. I know that sounds like a lot of information, but that is what I would choose if you're going down the free route, volume weighted moving averages.
Make sure you guys are taking the notes on this, by the way, and looking into it, because I mean, he
don't
knows what he's
trust me.
talking.
Yeah, don't trust me though.
Yeah, and just for anyone that's joined that didn't hear, I'm going to go back through the space reminders here. We know none of us here are financial advisors. Okay, we are not giving you any investment advice. All right, we're not shilling any projects or coins. We're only providing personal experiences that relates to learning, and that's what we're all here to do, is to learn. Okay, and it's to be educational. And of course, Hayden, which is a Knot of Works up here at the top, he's very knowledgeable on this stuff. So go give him a follow his charts, his articles, keep up tabs on that. He will educate you as far as trading, like he has me. And that's what we're here to do, is to learn and grow together, right? So when I do bring you guys up here in 5 minutes, just raise your hands. We'll be taking questions, and of course, we'll make sure that your questions are on topic, and we'll answer to the best of our ability. So, and then, so you were saying, as far as the VWAP, there was something else that you said. Did you actually create an algorithm or something with trading that you said that you were going to be posting an article about that they wouldn't accept?
No, I created the VWAP indicator that you see on my channel. Sometimes in my videos,
Okay.
I have a VWAP indicator that I had. Well, I didn't make it. ChatGPT created it for me. I don't have that type of knowledge, but I did tell it what to make for me. And it took me a couple days, but I had ChatGPT, Grok make and give me that. So, it's ChatGPT. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So it was an
okay.
indicator. Yeah.
So Grok actually created an indicator for you to use for trading?
Correct. I just asked hey, I want to make a indicator that allows me to have in one the ability to look at the daily volume weighted moving average, the weekly, the monthly, the quarterly, and the yearly VWAP, because just the basic rules on VWAP, if you're below the VWAP, you want to have a bearish bias. But if you have a bearish bias, of course, that's where you look to buy, because if price is going down, you should have courage. You should be looking to buy. You should be looking for reasons to be bullish below VWAPs, because it's typically below value. And then when price is above the VWAP, it's typically that you're in an uptrend, so look higher, but as price is moving higher, you want to be thinking about selling, taking profits. But I wanted to have something that allows me to understand where price is according to these volume weighted moving averages, because it gives you and builds you a bias for direction. And so, volume weighted moving averages is something I would highly recommend anybody to really learn about, because if that was, you could trade solely based off of volume weighted moving averages with an applied rule set and do very, very well. I do believe.
It sounds like you've done that yourself. It sounds like you do that now.
I do. I base everything on rules. Like I'll give you an example. I made a trade this weekend because price is below the weekly value. So if you pull up the Jasmy chart, obviously I can't right now, but Jasmy below 0.035 is actually technically under the weekly value area. And so it is considered discount for that previous week's time frame. So it doesn't mean it's below value in a sense of the macro viewpoint, but under the micro viewpoint, it is considered below value. So it is at my advantage to look to buy this asset, and then I'm taking profits at 0.039. That's roughly where the point of control is, and the weekly VWAP. And so that's where I plan on taking that trade to. Nothing is certain, but because price was below the weekly value, it gives me courage that it is considered discount, and so it'd be at my advantage to look to buy. And that's all my rules and the system does. It says, hey, this is at your advantage to look to buy this. And then also what I love about it is it tells you when you're wrong. It tells you if you're above value, because people ask me all the time, Should I buy this? Well, it just pumped 30%. That's an obvious no. And if you pull up my chart and pull up the profiles, if price is above value, it is at your disadvantage to buy, because historically, when price is above value, it is most likely going to revisit value and drop. So you never want to buy above value. You only want to look to buy when price is cheap. It's like you go to a dealership, you want to buy a truck. Do you want to buy a truck when, the market's heavily saturated, or you want to buy it when, it's like, do you want to buy the truck cheap or expensive? And so it's like the volume profiles tell you the truth, not based on your feelings, but what the market deems value. And so if you're looking to buy and price is above value, you can literally say, no, it's too expensive at this present moment. I'm going to wait until it's in my favor. And you'll notice price usually reverts back into value and will seek value area lows many, many times over the course of this 7-month period. Price has come down to the weekly and monthly value area, 30, 40 times. And most people ask me, can I buy this when price is at 5-6 cents? And it's like, the answer is no. Even though I'm very bullish on this asset, the price, it's above value. And so that's what I think is very, very important about the system that I have, is it kind of tells you what's in your favor or what is not. Hopefully that makes sense.
No, I think the key takeaways too, just from hearing you say that, is one, it removes emotions, right? So, I mean, how many times have all of us in this space used our emotion to make a trade? I can almost tell you,
all of us,
almost every single person in this space has done that. I'll
they
call you a liar if you haven't.
I mean, right. they probably do and still do.
Yeah, no. I mean, you're exactly right. So the second part to that is, how do we remove the emotion, right? And that's the technical analysis that you are talking about here on the volume, right? So using that, but setting yourself, the second part to that is a plan, having a plan, right? So the plan with the technical analysis, those two combined remove emotion, but also sets you up to make better trades, does it not?
Correct. 100%. If you plan the trade and you trade that plan, if you do not have a plan, it's like I liken it to, a person on a boat in the middle of the ocean. It's like you don't have any tools. You don't have a rudder. You don't have a sail. You have nothing to harness the wind, and so you're just going to be stranded on the ocean, and the ocean's going to consume you. The storms are going to come. The waves are going to crash. Or you can have a plan and a system that says, hey, all right, if the storm comes, I'm going to weather that storm by dropping an anchor or steering the rudder towards the wind or against the wind, or adjusting my sails so I can, because when drops happen, fear enters your heart. And when fear enters your heart, you begin to make mistakes. So you have rules. Usually when fear happens, that's usually statistically when price is below value. And so you can look at the chart during fear events. If you follow me during fear events, I'm always coming to the space, hey, it's below value, it's below value, it's below value. And at the time frame, most people are so consumed with fear, they don't understand the value of where price is according to time and value. And so, but because they're afraid, and I don't blame them, but then I go, hey, statistically, it is at your favor to look to purchase when price is below value, not because of my motion, but because of rules. And so when you're afraid, you look at the chart and go, okay, I'm afraid. I have this fear in my heart. The price is going to keep going lower. But then you can go, well, statistically, it's at my favor because it's below value. So I'm buying this asset at a cheaper price. So should I have fear here? No, I should not have fear here. I should have courage here. I should be looking to buy this. Don't be afraid. And that's the key takeaway, is that you kind of develop your own ship that you're on, and you put these apparatuses to help you and guide you, and these instruments, these control panels to help you instead of just your emotion, because your emotion's going to lie to you. You understand too, the market makers of this world invest billions and billions and billions of dollars on understanding psychology. And that is your biggest enemy in this space, is your mind and your emotion. And they know exactly how to exploit it. So you have to have something that tells you, hey, this is cheap, this is expensive.
You bring up actually a few good points there that I want to touch base on. Is when you're when you're trading, some people do short trades, right? So they day trade. And then you have others that do long trades, right? They actually invest in and they hold. So, I mean, obviously we are going to have different styles on what we want to do. But I feel like as far as day trading, you have the chance to get burned easier than if you do long trades if you're using a technical analysis. Am I right? Or am I 50-50?
I would say you're wrong, and I don't mean to be rude. It's more of
Nope.
the reason why I'd say you're wrong is the system that I have works on any time frame under any asset because it's based on rules. You can trade the 1 minute time frame based on the 1 hour profile if you feel like it. But if you follow the rule set with the 1 hour profile or the daily profiles, it's the same thing. It's the same rules that apply within the 1 minute time frame, the 1 second time frame, the 1 hour time frame, the yearly time frame. It's all rules based and it's all based on value. So if you're day trading, you have to, the issue most people run with is they want to be day traders, but the issue with day trading is you need to close out your position that day. When you're scalping, it is after 5-10 minutes you're getting in and out, or your day trade, you're closing that before you go to bed. And a lot of people want to trade the day time frame and hold on to that position based on daily profiles or just on the day-to-day basis. It is historically, you're not going to win doing that. You're going to get chewed up and spit out over and over and over again because you're not closing your trades. Prices are very efficient. The markets are extremely efficient. They're going to move up and down within value. And so if you're trading on a day-to-day basis, you need a system that tells you that, okay, if I'm going to be a scalper, I'm going to trade on the 4-hour volume profile. And so I'm going to set my profiles up to be a 4-hour time frame, but I'm going to lock in at the daily VWAP or the value area high of that 4-hour candle. But you have to know that's who you're doing, that's who you are. And so you're absolutely right that there's many different trading styles. You have to learn who you are. Most people tend to be wanting to be swing traders or investors. That's what I've noticed. And so at first, my audience or myself was mainly daily. I talk about the daily, and I realized that confused a lot of people because they didn't understand what I was saying. They couldn't differentiate my macro viewpoint with my micro viewpoint. So I actually tailored my content to be more of a swing trader position. And so I look at more of the weekly and monthly timeframes. But the system works whether it's on the 1 minute or the yearly at any time frame. That's what I love about it.
No, that was a perfect response there. And just so others here understand, you said micro and macro. Can you sort of just explain that a little bit more? Because if there's someone here that's not understanding these terms, it's important that they do, right?
So the macro viewpoint is my overall thesis. Like overall, I do believe, and I predicted this 2 years ago, that Jasmine was going to see 32 to 69 cents. I struggle with this viewpoint now because so many people have that same target. And I believe the majority of us can't all be right. So either A, my macro viewpoint, which is several years, my overall thesis is that we're going to see 69 cents, 32 cents, maybe even $1. Okay, that's my macro viewpoint. But my micro viewpoint is, hey, at 6.9 cents, I do believe we're going to drop down to 4 cents or 3.6 cents. That's my micro thinking. So you don't want to mistake. Well, you said 69. You think we're going to 69 cents, but bro, now you're saying we're going to go down to 33.6 cents, because that is my micro viewpoint. It is my short-term thinking. I think we're going to get a correction to 36 cents, or excuse me, 3.6 cents. But my overall viewpoint, my macro viewpoint, is a longer-term time frame, 6 months to a year in advance.
Perfect. Yep. Right on the money. So, I mean, that was a great explanation. So, when you're, a lot of times I think people will follow traders, that make posts, because there's a bunch out there. There's actually a couple that I invited here tonight, but they're not in the space. Hopefully the next one I can get them here. That's all they do, but they'll make a post and their followers will read into that as a macro, right? When it's really a micro, or vice versa. So then when the analysis chart doesn't line up, they're like, hey, well, you said this, right? So that's why, one, none of us are financial advisors up here, don't ever read into what we say, because what we're saying could mean something totally opposite of what you're perceiving, right? Because whatever you perceive that post means to you, you're going to take that information and go make a choice on that. And that's where, one, we got to remove ourselves from that emotional response, right? We have to, one, make a plan, like you said. Two, we need to use a technical indicator analysis, something in our charting algorithm that we can help to make our trades that removes emotion. And then the third thing is time. And you said it a second ago on the 4 hour, on those candles. Understanding candles is actually extremely important to trading. If you don't understand what a candle is, I suggest you looking it up and watching some YouTube videos on what a candle is, when it opens, when it closes, and the time frames are also very important to those candles. Do you want to touch base a little bit on that?
On candles?
Yes. Yeah, I'd love for everyone to hear on that. If you could just sort of briefly explain that.
Well, for me, I don't trade based off of candles. A lot of people ask me about that, like, oh, it's a bearish engulfing candle, or it's a bullish engulfing candle. I don't necessarily trade off them, especially with Jasmy, only because the Jasmy market maker will print. I'll give you an example. I mean, the week of, let me just pull it up really quick. I know you can't see it, but you just have to take my word for it. There was a weekly close in the beginning of December where we had this crash down in December. We closed all the way back up to almost 5 cents. It was absolutely beautiful, the wick on that weekly. We had a wickless weekly open, and then we closed almost at the top of that, creating this tall tail on this candle, which is bullish. Overall, that's very, very bullish. It showed demand at the end of the week, but we ended up closing the next week below that entire candle and below that entire wick. And so it can lie to you. So I struggle with just reading candles. I think, obviously, closing above price or closing above a previous candle is important, but trading solely based off of a candle structure, I don't really believe in, only because I think a lot of retail trade based off of candlestick patterns. Oh, this is a bearish engulfing candle. It's like they said that last week with Bitcoin. Bitcoin's still at 95K. And so it creates a bias after the fact. And that's what I don't like about it. It's because after the fact, it creates, like, I'll give you an example. That weekly candle gave me so much courage that we're going to go for that wickless weekly open. I still think we're going there. It's just, obviously, we're not there now. But after that closed, I had so much courage that we're going to actually defeat 5 cents because of that candle. And then the next week, it dunked straight down. And it was like almost a gut punch because the candle looks so good. And that's my point, is it can deceive you. And so, but if you look at value, we reclaim value on the weekly, we reclaim value on the monthly. That didn't lie. That actually transpired. In fact, we attacked the entire monthly value right after that candle. But if you would have just focused just on the candle, you would have been wrong. So that's why it's like you got to use it in conjunction with volume profiles, with weighted moving averages, volume weighted moving averages, not just candle structure. So to answer your question, do I like using candles? No, but they are a tool in your toolbox.
Yeah, and I did post in the space up top, by the way, when he was talking about the weekly close, I posted the picture up there, and I actually have it highlighted in yellow, where you have the first big spike up, and then we had a drop, and in that drop, the yellow line was at 0.058, and then we had the increase, and then the second increase almost touched 5 cents again, which you said was bullish, and you can see that yellow line there. But we did close from the previous week lower, so it was still downtrending.
Correct.
So the picture up there that I posted, you guys can see that what he was talking about there in the chart. So as far as what you've seen right now in the movement of Jasmy coin, and this can be applied to really, there's a bunch of other cryptos that follow this chart. Like literally, you go look Cardano. There's a bunch of them, like big heavy hitter cryptos. The charts look identical almost. They're really, really, really close. But so where do you think we are right now as far as your technical analysis? You looked at the chart earlier. Do you have any idea of from what you're seeing? You don't have to tell us where it's going. You just what are you seeing?
What I'm seeing, I'll be honest with you, I'm nervous. I'm actually a little nervous only because, but here's the thing. I've been following Jasmine for over 2+ years, and this is the Jasmine special. Make it look the weakest it possibly can. And then all of a sudden, Bruce Wayne comes in and buys up the entire place. This is why Jasmine is one of the most difficult charts I've ever done in my life, and it's an emotional roller coaster. The reason why I'm nervous is because we are hovering over the entire range's value area high. So if I pull up, I know you can't see my chart, but if I just look at it right at this moment, the value area high is at 3.1 cents. And according to my rules, we are supposed to be bullish above that value. We're supposed to be looking up. But if we reclaim that value, it is probable if we start to lose 3 cents, this is why calling for lower is actually really bad, because then we're reclaiming value, and it could trigger a black swan-esque type of event where we could see 2 cents also, and even 1.5 cents. And so I'm nervous only because this impulse wave that we had for the last couple weeks in the end of November and December was extremely bullish if it was impulsive. It was at first, but then we corrected so aggressively, and it seems like the choo-choo train has slowed down. And we're hovering at my rule set of value, which is 3 cents, 3.1 cents. And so I'm caught between being bullish and fearful because we're right at the level. This is the Jasmine Market Maker special. Attack a level over and over and over and over and over again. And then like it's as if like stabbing you and twisting the knife. It's like they know that's where, well, I don't know if they know that's where I'm looking, but that's where my invalidation is. And so they attack it over and over and over and over again. And then out of nowhere, volume kicks in, and then we blast higher. They have done this for 2 years. So I'll give you an example. I was extremely bearish at between when Jasmine first went up to 0.006, and it reclaimed value at 0.0055. And that alerted me that we would most likely, statistically speaking, make new lows. And he did that for 7 straight months. So this is nothing new for Jasmine. He did that for several months and hovered, or excuse me, weeks around 5.5 and teeter-tottering it, almost telling me we're reclaiming value, not reclaiming value, reclaiming value. And then it just skyrocketed. If you look at the volume, out of nowhere, volume entered this space in the Jasmine chart, and we blasted all the way up to 4 cents, 5 cents. So we're in a very, very similar predicament because we are hovering, we're getting super close to the value area highs like we were at the end of 2023. We're in the exact same spot as we were in value as we were in November and December of 2023. And we're right at that value area high, almost mimicking the exact same scenario as what we're going through today. And so I look at that and I go, okay, you're hovering at value area highs. You're almost taunting me. You're making me afraid. Therefore, I'm bullish. And so I do have a rule set that says if we start to lose 3 cents, then we statistically will most likely reclaim value and go probably to 1.5 cents, which would be absolutely devastating. Obviously, I don't want that to happen. I want us to move higher. And this move needs to move as soon as possible. We need to continue to impulse out of 3 cents. Like now, it's almost stressing me out because we're just teeter-tottering over the threshold of, we have so many levels to the downside. Not a lot of people understand that there's so much resting liquidity below us, and the majority lose. And that's what value shows you is where the majority is. I know I'm talking for a long time, so stop me if you need me to. But overall, my bias is very, very bullish. And I'm thankful that I study these charts daily because I know this market maker, and I think it gives me an edge because he's mimicking the exact same scenario as November, December of 2023. that if he continues to do that same scenario, we should rocket ship out of here. Now, I would prefer that happens before the yearly close, but the yearly close is coming, and the yearly close is in 3 days, and Jasmine has not shown any strength towards this yearly close. And so usually after the yearly close, we have a wick to the downside. A candle will form at the open and close of a candle. A new candle forms. And so it is statistical that if we're going to have a bullish wick or a bullish candle, you need to form the bottom side of that bullish candle, and that is a retracement. The issue is we're right at the threshold where I don't want price to go lower, and we're going to have a yearly close. I hope that makes sense. It's as if
No, it does.
we can't have price go lower in January.
So that brings up another question. Sorry to interrupt. As far as price moving down, right? So we should always, depending on how you're trading, right? If you're trading on the hour or you're, half a day or a day or whatever, right? You should have stop losses in place, right? To protect whatever it is that you've invested. And that's something that, I was unaware of as well, when I first started investing. And as a new investor, that would be something that I would recommend. And I believe anyone would recommend that, depending on how they trade, right? So is there a percentage that you would recommend as far as setting a stop loss?
Oh, here's the answer to that. I can't give you a recommendation. The reason why I can't is we're all separate individuals. My drawdown, I can have a 50% drawdown on an account and not even sweat. One person can have a 1% drawdown and freak out. Like I have a twin brother. My twin brother cannot hold an asset if it's 5% down. I'm cutting my losses, I'm out. Whereas in crypto, it's like if you got to give yourself some room, breathing room, because it's so volatile. So to answer your question, it's up to the individual on, well, how much are you willing to lose? How much are you willing to risk? You're willing to risk 20% to gain whatever you think is what you're wanting to profit. And that has to be something that the individual has to choose, because me losing 50% is probably much different than somebody else's, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
So it's to the individual.
Perfect. Well, I know we ran over a little bit on time. I want to try to see if anyone has any questions. If you guys have questions, you can go ahead and raise hands. We'll try to get you up here to go ahead and ask if you have any questions. That is, I know we've been covering quite a bit, so hopefully, if you did, we've answered those questions for you. And this has been very beneficial just from what I've already heard for myself here in this space. And that's what we sort of want to try to bring in every one of these spaces that we come. And some of it might be repetitive, but at the same time, that's good because it's ingraining in us, how to be a better trader, right? If that is something that you're looking to do. And of course, that's why I put it in the header of this space is trading TA tips and education, because that's what Not of Works, he's very passionate about, as you can tell from him talking here. And that's something I'm passionate about and I'm wanting to learn. So, having someone to be able to ask questions and learn from, right here you go. So, and if you do have someone that you're following other than Not of Works, make sure you're asking questions if you have questions. Having that person that can respond to you other than just watching a YouTube video, right? Because, YouTube has the answers to a lot, but you have to read between the lines sometimes on some of the information that's given, because you can get bad information out there. It's definitely on the web. So
yeah, we did bring another speaker up here, Big Dirty. I don't know.
Oh, there you go. Yep. Big Dirty, you got any questions? How's it going, buddy?
I got it. Good. How are you guys doing? Sorry about the name. I made it in high school. But anyways, quick question. You talk about the market maker a lot. Can you expand on the concept of that? Is that a group of individuals? Is that one individual, or is that like a collective mindset? And then also on top of that, how does that differ from the market maker on a coin like Jasmine versus other coins?
Okay, this is going to be a long answer, and it might disappoint some people, but I view this market as, I call the market maker the Wizard of Oz, and a lot of people. So obviously there is market makers. They are the ones that facilitate trades. When you go to facilitate a trade, a market maker goes, hey, you want to buy? Well, this person wants to sell, and they facilitate that trade for you. But I read a book a long time ago by W.D. Gann, and it basically talks about that the majority of people lose. So the majority of people lose that had a light bulb moment for me when I realized if the majority lose, then I need to know where the majority are. And so I developed what they call the composite man, who I call Oz, and that is the market maker of this world. Obviously, it's an allegory that or a metaphor, but it allows you to view the market as if one single entity is moving the price. And when you do that, it allows you to realize and helps you
I
view
think,
it.
like you said, describing it as an allegory, I think the Oz is a great, what's it called, comparison to it.
It's the best one I can come up with. And so there is market makers but it's when I talk
Yeah.
about it, it's an allegory.
Yeah, I was just concerned. I was wondering when you said that specifically to Jasmine, if that's like there's certain whales out there that hold the majority of the volume in the space and are actually physically manipulating it, but you're more so just saying like the collective mindset and how
No,
just understanding how people can react to it and essentially doing the opposite.
true, but there is a literal one. 100% firmly believe it's Binance, and I do believe it's Hara's company. I mean, I've said this in a previous video. I do believe that. I mean, if you look at Hara when he posts, it's historically at when prices are at the premium pricing, and he's doing it because you have to look at it like a business. He has a business and he wants to profit from that business. So the market makers facilitate those trades for him. He's going to come out and say bullish things to entice an emotional response in you to buy when he's selling. And so, no, there is a literal market maker that facilitates trades. There is people that have billions of Jasmine that need to sell it. And so they have to create bullishness. They have to create news and events to entice you to buy it. So no, there is a literal one, but my system, I use it as an allegory also.
Gotcha. Cool. That's very
Yeah, that's why you got to be careful, when you're investing in a coin, who you're following too, right? Because he's exactly right what he just said. I mean, you get people that hold millions or even billions of coin, depending on the coin, right? Because there's just not enough supply there. But they will post articles to their followers and shill the coin because they're holding X amount and they're looking to sell. You've got to be careful at reading. You got to read between the lines of those. And that's what you've got to be very careful about. So, I mean, I'll be honest, when I first invested in Jasmine, I was releasing a lot of news and stuff on Jasmine on my research, but I wasn't really realizing at the time either that I was shilling for the project, but I still believed, and I still do believe in Jasmine. But from what I've learned in my own experience, in my own research, as he calls it, Oz, right? That Oz, whoever Oz is, or a multiple of people that's working together, right? Because a market maker can be hundreds of people that are using it, the same trading algorithm, right? And they're all making these trades at the same time, or it could be just one big holder and making big trades at the same time, or making a bunch of small trades over time that is controlling the price. So there's not really a one answer for a market maker. That's why I love the Oz saying as well. Because
gotcha. Yeah, I appreciate that. When it comes
who
to
is Oz?
really quick, when it comes to like just siphoning online of how to siphon through people who are shilling versus people who are just trying to spit facts and like essentially be emotionless when it comes to analysis, like I'm not sure what your real name is, but Christ the Solid Rock I stand on, kind of like he does. Like he's been one of the few people I've found that I feel like he's actually he's not shilling anything. Like, do you guys have any tips on how to like siphon through the Twitter space to figure out who is actually just putting out realistic information?
That's a good question. That's a tough one. You just have to keep your emotions out of it. So, I mean, that's a loaded question if you really want to know the answer to it.
I can help answer it.
but go ahead.
Well, their agenda, if you listen to them, they have an agenda behind whatever they're saying. Obviously, I have no agenda because I'm not selling you anything. I'm not making merchandise of you because I'm not selling you a product. I'm giving you something. Where if you listen to them, they have something they want you to buy from them, whether it's their Patreon, whether it's their, their Discord channel. They're trying to, and they entice your emotion. Hey, Jasmine's going to go to $17. Oh, faces. Because then it goes, oh, this guy is knowledgeable. He's telling me what I want to hear. He's making merchandise of you. So I'll tell you, if they are trying to subtly bring up their Patreons or, their over the top price predictions and their Discord links, that is somebody you want to avoid because they have alternative motives. Clear as day.
Gotcha.
Yeah. That's why you gotta pay attention to the project and what the team is actually doing, right? So are they actually looking to advance the project? You gotta read between the lines on a lot of that stuff. Just got to do your research. That's why you hear from a lot of different people. Do your own research right before you invest because you don't know what you're buying. So, but projects that truly care, they care about their community, right? They protect their community. They don't shill for the community's loss, right? So you've got to watch out for that. And sometimes it can be very manipulative as well, and how they make their post. But you can read into it if you spend enough time reading what people post on a regular basis. I know who they are in a jazz. I mean, I'm not going to call anyone out for names, right? I wasn't one of those at one time. I was actually misled in the very beginning of Jazz. I was making a lot of posts, but I didn't know what I was doing because I was still learning, right? But now at this point, I know who they are. But I would never call anybody out for it. But at the same time, you got to be very careful. So
cool. That's very helpful.
Sam, looks like Sam, you came up here. What's up, buddy?
Hey, yeah. First of all, thank you both for doing this. I really appreciate it. But I just wanted to kind of ask a question, Hayden. Now that I've been following you for a little bit, and I do read most of the stuff that you post. Being that you think that Binance is part of the Jasmine market maker scheme, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which completely makes sense, right? They're the largest holder in wallets. They have been accumulating like crazy. Do you think that the monitoring zone thing is a purposeful manipulation by Binance to keep the price suppressed? And being that you said it's been a couple of weeks ago that you think that removal will go along with when we actually start to move up considerably.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that that's January, or do you think that they're going to wait until the later part of the year, depending on how the bull run is? Like, do we have 6 more months of this, or do you really think that it's going to happen in January?
Well, historically, me predicting time hasn't been. I've been very, very bad at it. So I'm not going to try to predict time, but I'll give you the concept and the theory behind your question. So, Jasmine entered into the innovation zone at the value area lows. You couldn't have possibly gotten Jasmine cheaper when it went into the innovation zone, which caused many, and I mean many people, to sell because people were afraid because, it's in its innovation zone. But that was when Jasmine was at its cheapest price, when it was at its riskiest, quote unquote. And so I do believe the exact opposite is going to happen. And it's very, very strategic. And I actually predicted this several years ago, that the monitoring zone will be used to entice the final batch of retail investors to purchase the product that Jasmine has accumulated since 003 and up. They will use that news and event to basically sell their bags to those new retail investors. That is my prediction. That's what I think. I think that news will trigger. I'm not going to say that the second the news comes out, that's what it means we're going to zero. No, I'm saying I do believe it's going to create the hype and that the days of Jasmine are numbered after that. Correct. That's what I do believe.
Right.
You got to remember, guys, I mean, one, none of us are financial advisors. That is a personal opinion of his, right?
Correct.
Jasmine. So whether or not he's right, it's all speculation. That's what he believes. There's nothing wrong. We all have our own biased opinions of whatever it is we're investing in, right? So just remember that. But I know we're a little over on time. I want to try to keep the spaces to 1 hour as close as I can. If there's anybody else that has any questions, raise your hand. If not, we're going to go ahead and try to end the space. But appreciate Sam's, the questions that you've had, Big Dirty, you coming up, the questions that you've had. Anyone that's in the space, please make sure to give Christ the Solid Rock I Stand a follow. You can always message him for any questions. And of course, always do your own research with any project. That's the most important thing. And never invest off emotion. So the things that I'm going to touch base on that I've learned in the space tonight is, one, have a plan. Two, use a technical analysis chart so it eliminates emotion. And of course, time. Set a time frame that you're going to trade based off the chart. Is there anything else you got, Not of Works, that you want to say here at the end of the space?
Well, first, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. You're the first person that's ever even wanted to do this. So mad thanks to you and everybody that's here. If I could say anything, I'd be, don't trust me either. I'm a human with human emotions. I just share with you a system, and you can view that system and see if it works for you. It might not work for you. But my goal has always been to help people navigate this space, because a lot of people go in blind. And I don't want my friends, blind when they're going into this, because it can destroy families. And so I take this very, very seriously. And you're right, it's not financial advice. And so you are the ultimate arbiter of your money and your coins and your plans. And so the only thing I'd recommend is that you have at least an idea of what you're doing, or at least a plan, because in a bull run, especially at the top, greed sets in, and greed is your biggest enemy. And 99% of people lose, and 99% of people will not sell. I'm having trouble selling, and I'm up 20x. So I'm greed. There's greed in my heart, So if anybody gets it, it's me. And so I just ask that you have a plan, a system.
Well, I definitely appreciate you taking the time to come on the space and just share some of your knowledge. And like I said, there was a couple others that I was hoping to have here tonight that this is what they do. They're very knowledgeable as far as trading. We will have them in the next space. I'll give them enough heads up. But Big Dirty, did you have anything, or Sam, did you have anything you wanted to add? Thanks for coming up and definitely asking the questions before we close out.
One quick final question. This could be just a quick hitter. I've heard you say set your sell orders, but I've also heard about trailing stop losses, which I need to do more research on. Would you suggest a sell order or a trailing stop loss, or the combination?
A combination. So what I bring up with limit sell orders is I have a map that I make of usually where I believe price is going. And so I like to have limit sell orders. I say for people to front run them. Obviously, it's not financial advice, but you set a limit sell order because it removes your emotion from the equation. Because at the moment price gets there, your heart, your mind, your greed will set in and go, no, it's going to go higher. So that limit sell order prevents, basically a protective mechanism from yourself. So it forces you to close out a position. And then as for trailing stop losses, it depends on the micro and macro viewpoint that you have, because trailing a stop loss could trigger an event where you get stopped out. And so that it's dangerous. I will make a video on that. I have in the past made a video on how you could trail your stop losses, but it really depends on your macro or micro viewpoint. You just don't want to put your trailing stop loss until price makes a new high. Like right now, before I'd ever raise my take profit, or excuse me, my stop loss, I would at least wait for price to get above like 6 cents before I would even consider raising my stop loss, if that makes sense, because it's made a new high, and then you can put it under that swing low. And then if price continues higher and then ranges again and then breaks that new high, you can raise that stop loss just under that consolidation, if that makes sense. But you need price to go higher.
Yeah, priority is sell order first to get those profits, but then also second priority, or not really a priority, but second option would be to implement that trailing stop loss for maximum potential.
to protect yourself from a liquidation event. The issue is there's liquidation events all the time. And so, when you're stopped out, now you got to start all over again. You got to find another entry.
Yeah.
And so
Cool.
that's it. That's the hard part.
All right. That's all I had. Thank you.
Yeah, cool. I'm good, guys. Just have a lot of reading to do.
Well, we definitely appreciate all of the listeners that's been in the space tonight that has not came up and asked questions. We greatly appreciate you. Make sure you give us all a follow up here. We would appreciate the support as well. That's why we're here, right? Is to help one another grow in the community and provide knowledge and information, so we can all, make better decisions, when we're investing or trading. And, we're all in this space too, I think, to learn about the technology as well as Web3, and we're all ahead of the game. So, Frank, Interlink, did you have anything you wanted to add or say?
No, I just want to say this is amazing what you guys are doing here. I really didn't know what to expect. You asked me to come co-host and help for a little bit, and I really didn't know what to expect. But I've got multiple messages from people saying this is great. So I definitely support what you guys are doing. We need more education, not just in like the crypto stuff, but the trading, what you guys are talking about. It's a different realm than what we're usually like listening to, like Interlink in the community. We're more just on like the DeFi side of it. So to hear actual trading options like you guys are talking is opening up a whole new world that'll eventually come into the vision of crypto and DeFi as well. So I definitely appreciate what you guys are doing, and I will be gladly to host the next one as well.
Well, I definitely appreciate you coming and helping out, manage the space. It just takes off less from me or, Hayden from having to worry about bringing people up if anyone has questions. So, but yeah, definitely check out Interlink. They are the elevate and engage is their motto. They are actually putting projects first to connect them into the Web3 and network together to promote for them. So they're all about putting others first when it comes to the project. So they definitely got their own decks. They're listed on some few different things. I'm not here to try to show projects, like I said, but anyway, just check them out. But that's it for tonight, guys. Definitely appreciate those that came up. We look forward to having you all in the next space. We'll make sure to schedule it and share it in advance. We'll at least be doing one once a month. Not sure if we'll be able to do it every week, but right now it'd definitely be one once a month. So, but we hope you guys all have a happy new year. Stay safe. Make sure you have a designated driver if you're going to drink, because do not get behind the wheel. That could be a very costly mistake for yourself or another loved one. So make sure you spend time with your loved ones. And that's it for tonight. We thank you.
Thanks for having me. Take care.